When you think of California, you probably don't think of spookiness. Well, believe it or not, creepy California does exist, if you know where to look. The state has ghosts, legends, and monsters, and you might be surprised to see that some of them are about as scary as you can get. Between ghosts and creepy serial killers, California has a genuinely bloody history dating back to its formation. It could be the home of Bigfoot, and Old West ghosts are around, shooting it out in some of the nation's finest ghost towns. You don't have to watch this at night or turn off the lights. But with the scary stories and terrifying urban legends in California that we're about to delve into, I highly recommend it. The haunted Old Stage Road in Salinas, California. Old Stage Road has been known for many hauntings. It runs right outside of Salinas and goes through the back roads of King City. One of the most infamous stories that have been passed down was back in the late 1800s or early 1900s. There was a woman that was walking alongside the road, and there was a man who asked her for a ride, and she accepted. After driving for a bit, he pulled over, savagely attacked and violated her. After this horrendous act, he decapitated her. He then went out and threw her head into the fields. Since then, there have been many sightings through the years of a woman walking down the road holding her own head. The hauntings at Disneyland. Although Haunted Disneyland sounds like a theme park attraction, there are actually several ghosts residing in the theme park. Oddly enough, one such ghost lives in the Haunted Mansion. Visitors to the theme park report seeing the apparitions of an elderly man and woman. These apparitions ascend the grand staircase or vanish among the displays. They appear to be residual haunts and harmless. However, in the attic and the dark corners of the building, a nastier spirit occasionally troubles guests and the workers. It's in these areas people have reported their hair being pulled, or being shoved or pinched, or just the feeling of being watched. Guests reporting these incidents to the management are often amazed to learn that these really great ghosts are in fact actual apparitions. Other areas in Disneyland said to be haunted include the It's a Small World attraction, Matterhorn Mountain, Pirates of the Caribbean, and Space Mountain. Many legends tell of guests who died on those rides and continue to haunt the area. And what spooky urban legend video would be complete without a haunted elementary school? With that, Washington Elementary School. Because of the sheer number of people who pass through their doors, schools are places of strong memories, energies, both happy and sad. California includes several haunted schools, including the Washington Elementary School in Alameda. According to local legend, Washington Elementary School is haunted by the ghost of a 13-year-old boy who died while the school was being renovated. He strayed into an off-limits area, fell through a hole in the floor, and wasn't discovered until much later. Students and teachers report strong feelings of dread in the area where the boy died. Scratch and knocking and bangs can be heard in the hallway. Mysterious shadows flit through the corridors, particularly at twilight. The hauntings at the Black Diamond Mine. The Black Diamond Mine and surrounding town are said to be haunted by the ghost of Sarah Norton. Sarah was a midwife who died on her way to deliver a baby. Many people remember her saying that she didn't want a funeral, but the townspeople felt that it was the right thing to do, so they tried to perform a burial service. Twice, natural disasters such as fierce thunderstorms struck during the services. Finally, Sarah was laid to rest, but her ghost continues to haunt the area. Look for Sarah's ghost at the Rose Hills Cemetery. She seems particularly fond of children and often appears to them. Hauntings at the Antioch Gates of Hell. Along the isolated, deserted Empire Mine Road in Antioch, there's a haunted place known as the Gates of Hell. Yes, that's right. There is a literal gate on the side of the road, and the locals call it the Gates of Hell. These are modern times, and it's not quite the gargoyle-encrusted stone edifice that the name might call to mind. There aren't any demons scampering around, at least not in plain sight. The Antioch Gates of Hell is more of a swinging metal barricade of the sort that gets placed at hiking trailheads to stop cars from going in. It's actually pretty innocuous if you just drive right by. But be careful if you hang out there too long, and whatever you do, don't step through. Cross the gates and you might be in for a world of hurt. For whatever reason, the gates of hell are rife with ghostly phenomena, many of them potentially posing a physical threat. There are not one, but two dark legends associated with this place, each involving death and blood. Ghosts and spirits certainly remain in the immediate vicinity, reenacting or seeking revenge for their grisly ends. A slew of miscellaneous effects also plagues the area, including cold spots, orbs of light, and even a gravity hill. What causes this intense locus of paranormal activity? Do you dare visit the gates of hell? Listen to some of these haunting stories that happen there and decide for yourself. Among other things, the grounds beyond the gates once held an insane asylum. An honest-to-God insane asylum with straitjackets and shock treatments and lobotomies. Today, these brutal practices are no longer performed. Unfortunately, the spirits of the deceased patients, or should we say victims, may not have gotten the message. It is said that a veritable army of ghosts stalk the landscape. Some still suffer from the same illnesses as in life, as others are just simply filled with incoherent rage at the pain that they were made to endure. Mental hospitals and other such facilities are almost always hotbeds for ghosts and spirits, especially after they are closed down and abandoned. Like most of the hauntings at Antioch, the specters inhabiting the area around the insane asylum are notably stronger and angrier than others of their type. It seems that the gates are what's keeping them at bay. Stand in the road and you'll be fine. Cross through those gates and you might be immediately attacked in any number of ways. Is it possible that a good-minded paranormal expert, ghost hunter, or even a practitioner of the dark arts has empowered the gates in some way? Regardless of the exact nature of the gate's protection, it seems to hold fast for the moment. That doesn't stop the ghosts from lashing out, though. One group of explorers recounts climbing over the gates and wandering a short distance beyond. They quickly felt the hateful stare of many eyes and fled when they began to experience the sensation of rocks or other small objects whizzing close by. Piling into the car, they were shocked when a creature of some sort leaped onto the hood. Thinking it was a mountain lion, the people screamed and started the car. The beast was thrown and quickly ran out of sight. Only after they were on the road again did they realize that the supposed big cat had retreated on 2 legs, not 4. Was it a cryptid, or maybe something even more sinister? Other ghostly phenomena at the Antioch Gates of Hell. Like most ghost-infested regions, the Gates of Hell are also home to a slew of minor effects. Floating orbs of light are frequently spotted roving around the grounds. They are often only seen out of the corner of one's eye, but can be captured on a thermal camera if cleverly placed. Cold spots are dotted throughout the countryside. Walking through the fields, even in broad daylight, one will often feel a sudden chill and sense of dread. When psychic sensitives visit the area, they are often overwhelmed by the dark energies. Strange sounds, especially scrapes and moans, as if someone is dragging themselves along the ground, can be heard. And finally, though infrequent, other visible apparitions are sometimes reported. A lady in white has been known to visit the Gates of Hell, as well as strangely dressed and unnaturally tall men. Their garb doesn't suit the modern day at all, looking like something out of the 19th century, or perhaps even before. As with most such specters, they ignore all attempts to speak with them and disappear without a trace of approach. The hauntings of Queen Mary in Long Beach, California. This luxury liner claims a long and checkered history. Built during the 1930s, the RMS Queen Mary hosted such celebrity patrons such as Winston Churchill and Clark Gable, serving guests in style and comfort as they crossed the Atlantic. With the advent of World War II, she was rechristened as the Grey Ghost and converted into a utilitarian vessel that delivered soldiers to their front lines. During her time on the seas, 49 deaths were recorded aboard the ship. Now serving as a one-of-a-kind hotel, ghosts and employees of the RMS Queen Mary have reported sightings of spectral former residents drift through the ship's corridors, as well as drastic changes in temperature and disembodied sounds and the echoing cries of children. Chilnulana Falls Trail haunting Yosemite National Park. An 8.4-mile loop takes hikers past these gorgeous 3 waterfalls and a serene lake. However, the placid water of Grouse Lake are deceptively calm. According to a Wenatchee legend, a young boy once drowned in the waters. Hikers along the trail claim to have heard the child's spirit calling out for help. However, folklore indicates that it's best to stay away, as anyone who ventures into the waters to help is also drowned in its depths. The many hauntings at Winchester Mystery House of San Jose. Sarah lost her only child Annie in 1866 at the age of 6 weeks to Maramus, and in the span of a year, in 1881, Sarah Winchester lost her mother, father-in-law, and husband to tuberculosis. Following the deaths, she was convinced that she was cursed by the spirits of those killed by the Winchester rifle. She purchased and began renovations on a small 2-story house that would eventually become the famed Winchester Mystery House of San Jose. For 38 years, Sarah added on bizarre architectural elements, culminating in a behemoth mansion that boasts 160 rooms. This includes 40 bedrooms, 40 staircases, 10,000 windows, 13 bathrooms, 6 kitchens, 52 skylights, 2,000 doors, 47 fireplaces, 3 elevators, 2 basements, and 1 shower. All allegedly built to confuse the spirits of people who were murdered with the Winchester rifles. The Winchester house is full of mystery and eeriness that many are captivated with. Since her death in 1922, visitors have reported multiple paranormal encounters within the house, from icy chills to a mysterious groundskeeper. The hauntings at Evergreen Cemetery, Santa Cruz County. One of the oldest Protestant cemeteries in the county, the Evergreen Cemetery is also considered to be one of the most active. The cemetery was established in 1858 and is the final resting place for an incredibly diverse group of people that include Chinese immigrants, artists, travelers, and gold prospectors. Locals have witnessed numerous spirits wandering the grounds, with encounters documented as far back as 1902. From disembodied childish laughter to an elderly woman maintaining her disappearing cabin, the woods of the cemetery are haunted by the area's rich history. Point Sur Lighthouse, Monterey County. One of the oldest and most isolated lighthouses in the state of California, the Point Sur Lighthouse, was built in 1889 on an isolated spur. Early keepers had to travel for miles just to reach the nearest road. Despite the Point Sur's bright beacon, the stretch of coast surrounding the lighthouse claimed multiple lives between shipwrecks and the crash of the USS Macon in 1935. Nowadays, the tower is said to be haunted by the victims of these tragedies. Several volunteers and guests have reported specters of past keepers, including a tall man in dark blue garb, walking the grounds. During one paranormal investigation, an eerie voice was captured on tape whispering, "Now she wants you to go home." The hauntings of Moaning Cavern, Vallecito. Named for the moans that echo from the cave's entrance when wind passes through, the Moaning Cavern was discovered by miners in 1851. More recently, 12,000-year-old bones have been discovered deep within its shafts. Experts suspect that the cave's emanating wells lured nearly 100 prehistoric people to their deaths as they investigated the source of the cries. The hauntings at Cerro Gordo Ghost Town. The former mining town rests at 8,500 feet above sea level in the Inyo Mountains. Developed in 1867, the outpost fostered saloons, hotels, brothels until the late 1870s when the price of silver began to plummet and the town was abandoned. The Cerro Gordo mines claimed the lives of at least 30 men. Today, current owner Brent Underwood lives in the abandoned ghost town, and he has encountered a myriad of strange and unsettling events, from lights turning on in the abandoned buildings to books tumbling from shelves on their own accord. Visitors to Cerro Gordo's American Hotel, which burned down on June 15th of 2020, often reported strange sightings and spectral energies. Underwood suggested in an interview with the Los Angeles Times that the blaze that destroyed the American Hotel could have been paranormal in nature. He said, "The caretaker here told me that he and another person saw a shadowy apparition moving in the hotel kitchen at 4 p.m. on that previous day." The town of Cerro Gordo is known for its bizarre happenings. Demons in the Alcatraz prison cells. Legend is that cells in Alcatraz prison are haunted by ghosts of guards and prisoners. One of the myths states that in the 1940s, a prisoner was locked in solitary confinement at the prison. The prisoner kept screaming that a demonic being with glowing eyes was trying to kill him. The guards refused to open the door. They thought the prisoner was just looking for an excuse to be let out. The following morning, the prisoner was found dead, and no one could explain what happened. The hushed tale of Joshua Tree skinwalkers. Skinwalkers are said to be medicine men and malicious witches who do not like being looked at. Legend is the skinwalkers shapeshift into wolves or coyotes and can sometimes pretend to be injured children to lure their unsuspecting victims. Skinwalkers are said to frequently visit Joshua Tree National Park. The frightening bit is people often go missing in Joshua Tree. Some are found dead and others just disappear without a trace. What do you think? The ghost of the Colorado Street Bridge on Route 66. Built in 1912, the first time someone took their life off the Colorado Street Bridge was in 1919. On that bridge, there have been a minimum of 100 suicides since then. Legend has it that the Colorado Street Bridge ghosts pressurize anyone walking by to jump to their death. The Black Dahlia remains a gruesome mystery. On the morning of January 15, 1947, police in Los Angeles made a horrifying discovery. A woman, sliced cleanly in half at the waist, posed such that onlookers thought she was a mannequin. The murder victim, identified as Elizabeth Short, was a young actor, and the public became entranced with the murder, nicknaming her the Black Dahlia. A massive manhunt ensued, but no one was ever charged, and the murder remains unsolved. Almost 70 years later, and we're still searching for the person who performed this gruesome and bloody murder and their motive. The Zodiac Killer has never been found. The Zodiac Killer is one of the most notorious murderers in the United States history, and Northern California was his hunting ground. In the late 60s, the bodies of 2 teenagers were discovered in Vallejo, shot to death. Then, police received a threatening letter and a coded message. At least 5 murders have been attributed to the so-called Zodiac Killer. Notes continued to arrive with weird, unknown codes even the experts couldn't crack, and no amount of investigation produced enough clues to charge anyone. Many people have been accused of being the Zodiac Killer over the years, but they have never been identified, and some of their mysterious coded messages have never been recorded. While they stopped killing a long time ago, there's no promise that they're gone for good, which might make you reconsider walking alone at night in the Bay Area hills. The abundant ghost in the Old West outpost of Bodie, California. Bodie is a carefully preserved West outpost, museum, and historic landmark. The town has several ghosts who haunt different areas of it. Each building in the town seems to have its own folktale. There's a legend of miners who visit prospecting offices and a small girl who haunts her gravesite. One remarkable aspect of the town is you're not allowed to take anything from it. And despite being illegal to do so, legend has it that anyone who takes anything from this town will be cursed. The town's museum has a book filled with letters from those who returned the items that they took. Items returned with the hope of breaking the curse. There's a burning creature stalking Camp Comfort County Park. The legend of the Charred Man is one of the darker and more well-known in California lore. Camp Comfort County Park hardly seems like a scene of a horror and violence, but that Ventura County Park has numerous ghosts, the king of which is the Charred Man. As the story goes, in the woods you can sometimes see a horrifying shape, but not quite beast and not quite man. If you stop your car near those woods, this burning, disfigured thing might charge out to try to kill you, roaring like a raging inferno. People who have gotten away report ash marks and dents on their vehicles, and no one knows where it came from. Some say he was a child burned in a fire, and others say he was a bus driver who went mad and crashed and killing all his passengers. And some say he's just a beast or a demon. No matter what he is, you can be sure that you don't want to run into him. Alright guys, thank you all for watching this episode of Tales Told in the Dark, Urban Legends of California, my state. So I hope I did it well. Thank you all for watching. Leave a comment. I love my comments, and I'll see you next time. Bye guys.